Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hey, General Hospital fans. We've got Willow Tate Caitlin McMullen distraught after catching Drew Kane Quartermain Cameron Matheson with the friendly neighborhood call girl, Jacinda. But things may turn around soon for Congressman Cutthroat, even though it looks very dire right now. Willow may be the one to find out the truth about what happened to her honey Drew, with no idea that her mother Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watrous, is to blame for her heartbreak. Recently, Willow couldn't believe her eyes after catching Drew in bed. Then, the hooker girl, Jacinda, was in his shirt looking like she just took a ride on the D train. When Willow walked in, Jacinda really amped up things to maximize the damage. Willow can't believe that he would betray her this way. She ran out of the house while Drew was still trying to wake up and figure out what happened. Willow ran, but Drew couldn't pursue. Even though he was calling out after her, because he's got a ketamine hangover. That's a real medical thing I looked up today. Willow went crying to her mom, Nina. She bawled her eyes out, got all the hugs, and Willow got comfort from her mom on General Hospital. Nina took advantage to press her agenda, saying, "This may be who Drew has been all along." But even while distraught and hurt in that moment, Willow told Nina, this is not like the Drew she knows and loves. But Nina kept prodding her in the direction she wanted. So, she's got Willow wondering if she missed some sort of red flags. He's some closet alcoholic or something. That's where Nina has her. Willow's so hurt and angry that she may be done with Drew. But it's not over yet. He's at Nina's door because he knows Willow would run to her mother. By the end of this week, he's pleading his case to her. But first, Willow is furious and screaming she may lose her kids because of him. She probably feels that she couldn't convince a judge that she and Drew can provide a stable, healthy, and loving home for her children. Because he's running around doing body shots off a hooker while the whole town is live streaming it. But before you get too excited thinking that karma has come for Drew and Willow's going to dump him, let's slow our roll. Because things are about to flip. No doubt when he asks, she'll let Drew explain himself. She loves him. She's mad, but she loves him. He'll remember that he was with Tracy Quartermain, Jane Elliott. He ordered a drink, and then after that, everything's a blur. I doubt Drew remembers much, if anything, from the Savoy. But the video does not lie that Nina showed her daughter. Willow's going to doubt everything he's saying because it seems crazy. However, with Drew insisting he has no memory of the events of the night before, Willow slows up to listen. Even Laura Spencer, Jeannie Francis, who dislikes him, saw that his actions were very unlike him. Curtis Ashford, Donald Turner, who also hates him, said that he never thought Drew would hurt Willow or cheat on her. So, if his enemies have doubts about Drew's behavior, then the woman he loves will also on General Hospital. Once Willow takes a moment to breathe and think, she may start to do some digging to see if Drew could be telling the truth. Don't forget, Willow is a nurse. She may recognize some signs and symptoms that Drew was drugged. Willow might be willing to at least consider the possibility. In fact, Drew wants a blood test to prove his innocence. I could see Willow saying, all right, if what you say is true, a drug test will prove it. Willow knows sketchy Brad runs the lab, so that could be a problem. Nina will panic over a tox screen, though. She could warn Portia, who would absolutely get Brad to tamper with the results. Hopefully, even though he's got this ketamine hangover, Drew will think twice about trusting test results from GH. At the same time, Drew is not going to want to tell Willow he's blackmailing her boss, Portia. All valid reasons to trust the General Hospital lab. I do not see this as a big moment of Drew getting dumped. I think he and Willow may be able to clean this all up. That'll further frustrate his enemies. It seems the GH writers want to torment fans who hate Drew. So, they're not going to stop this. Not for a while. That's what I think. Willow will probably hold out hope that Drew didn't deliberately cheat and humiliate her. A drug test will show ketamine in Drew's system 100%. That would help him salvage his relationship with Willow. Drew's also got to figure out who did this and how he can rehab his public image. Given that he just threatened Portia and she has access to ketamine, Drew will know that she's at the root of it. He's not dumb. I bet he would find a way to punish Portia and expose her. Spoilers for Friday say that Max Scorpio, John J. York, learns that a crime was committed. So, I suspect Drew and Willow go down and report that he was drugged. There are two ways this can tie back to Portia and wreck her life. First, Willow could access the pharmacy logs and see that Brad used his badge to get in there the day Drew was drugged. That would tie back to his boss. Or Mac might get a warrant for the logs and they look into it. Whoever investigates the medicine storage at General Hospital is going to see that a bottle of ketamine is missing. And that should lead to Brad. From there, whether it's Mac, Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, or whatever detective questions Brad, he would throw Portia under the bus. I don't think he'd hesitate. Brad would not take the fall for her. I fully expect this ketamine scheme to blow up in Portia and Nina's face. Maybe only one of them has to go down, though. Because the big question is whether Portia would drag Nina down with her. Portia may not see the point in ruining Nina's life since it won't save her. It could ruin Nina's relationship with Willow, certainly, if Drew gets an inkling that Nina's involved whether Portia outs her or not. That gives Drew a lot of power because he could tattle to Willow or blackmail Nina. Willow's going to find out eventually that Nina's involved. And it'll probably ruin their relationship as mother and daughter. Maybe for good on General Hospital. The other reason for Drew to file criminal charges with Mac is to rehab his public image. The worst case outcome for Portia is she's publicly outed. The ketamine should trace to Brad, who rats out his boss. From there, Mac may tell Drew what they found out. And Brad could make things worse. I could see Drew threatening Brad. He could force him to tell the PCPD about Portia's test tampering on Heather Weber's Allie Mills test. That would prove a track record of Portia doing shady things to the hospital. It'd absolutely cost her medical license. Then Drew can come out, make a big public statement that the wife of his former best friend Curtis targeted him and could have killed him with ketamine. Drew could drag Portia through the mud at a press conference. And her arrest would seal it. Then, Drew would be a victim rather than some horny congressman. It could clean everything up for him. It could even generate public sympathy. In the end, Curtis may find out about Portia's dirty deeds in the worst possible way. Curtis will likely dump Portia for lying and doing all these sketchy things. It would be pretty ironic if Willow stayed with Drew and he bounced back. Instead, it may blow up Portia's life. At this point, that's what I expect to see on General Hospital. And not because I'm on Team Drew, by the way. It's just that the GH writers always set it up so he gets away with everything. And I don't think they're going to stop. At the end of this week, Drive. Isaiah Gannon, Swandy Wilson, tells Drew his test results are ready. It should show ketamine in his system unless Nina got to Portia in time and figured out a miracle. But it's unlikely. So, if Drew can keep Willow and find a way to tie this drugging thing from Curtis to Portia to other enemies like Laura, well, that could sway the Esplanade vote the way he wants. Drew could make it a whole thing about mob sympathizers targeting him. This could actually be a good thing for Drew. I don't think he's going to lose a thing because of it, but we'll see. The sun filtered through the windows of General Hospital, casting long shadows across the linoleum floor. Tension hung in the air like a storm cloud ready to burst. Drew Kane stood outside the exam room, arms crossed, jaw clenched. He never expected his carefully laid plan to unravel so catastrophically, and certainly not today. It had started with good intentions. After Jason's return from the dead, Drew had been consumed with resentment and jealousy. He had rebuilt his life, his identity, and his family while Jason's memory had been honored like he was a fallen saint. The praise, the reverence, it was more than Drew could stomach. He was tired of living in Jason's shadow. And so, he made a reckless decision. It began subtly. Ketamine, long rumored to be linked to Jason's resilience and programmed behavior, was being quietly studied for off-label use in PTSD treatment. Drew had used his influence to fast-track a trial, convinced it could give him the edge he needed. If he couldn't be Jason Morgan, he could at least feel invincible like him. But soon, the occasional dose turned into something darker. He started relying on it before missions, then before board meetings, and finally, just to get through the day. No one suspected a thing. Until now. Drew Kane. Elizabeth's voice pulled him from his spiraling thoughts. She held a manila folder in one hand and a look of disappointment in the other. I need to speak with you in private. Drew followed her down the corridor without a word, his stomach sinking with each step. Inside her office, Liz closed the door softly and laid the folder on the desk. This was supposed to be a routine physical. HR flagged some inconsistencies in your last drug screening. He didn't answer. Instead, he stared at the folder like it might vanish if he looked long enough. It came back positive for ketamine, Drew. Her voice was barely above a whisper now. You have to explain this. He looked up, expression hardened. I don't owe anyone an explanation. Actually, you do. You're on the ELQ board, a decorated Navy veteran, and now the hospital has to report this. The fallout was immediate. Word spread like wildfire. Nina, stunned and furious, pulled back her investments in Drew's new media venture. Sam was heartbroken, more so because he had kept this from Scout. And Carly had seen it coming. The late nights, the edgy behavior, the obsession with proving himself. But the real twist came when Willow, overhearing a whispered conversation between Michael and Carly, made a choice that shocked them all. She had been planning to take a leave from GH, to explore a teaching opportunity out of state, something quiet and stable after months of turmoil with Nina, the transplant, and the near-death experiences. But seeing how fragile the people around her had become, how quickly Port Charles was unraveling, changed her mind. "I'm staying," she told Michael that night. "For the kids. For you. For this family." Michael tried to argue. "You've been through so much, Willow. You deserve peace." Willow shook her head, strength in her eyes. "Peace isn't running away. It's fighting for what matters. And right now, this town needs people who are willing to do that." Meanwhile, Portia Robinson found herself in a maelstrom of her own making. The hospital board had been quietly reviewing her conduct for months, especially after her increasingly erratic decisions in the and her hostility toward Trina's relationship with Spencer before his death. But it wasn't until a whistleblower came forward, a young intern who overheard Portia manipulating lab results for a VIP patient, that things truly began to unravel. Hospital administrators acted swiftly. Curtis, still adjusting to his new life in a wheelchair, was blindsided. He had forgiven Portia for keeping secrets about Trina's paternity, but this. It was too much. A betrayal of ethics. Of integrity. "I don't even know who you are anymore," he said quietly as Portia pleaded for understanding. "I did it for the hospital," she began. "No," he interrupted. "You did it to keep control. Just like you always have." Trina, who had just started to find her footing again, watched her mother's downfall with a conflicted heart. Despite everything, she had always seen Portia as a strong woman, someone who fought for her patients and family. But now, all Trina saw was fear and desperation. Within days, Portia was suspended pending investigation. The press caught wind of the scandal, and the Robinson family name, once a pillar of respect, became synonymous with deceit. In a poetic twist, Willow was asked to take a temporary administrative position at GH, overseeing outpatient programs and patient outreach. Her poise, honesty, and healing journey made her the perfect choice. Portia's fall was Willow's rise. Back at the Quartermain estate, Drew packed a small bag. He needed help. Real help. Not another shortcut. Not another masked coping mechanism. Before he left, he sat with Scout and promised her he'd come back stronger. "I made a mistake," he told her gently. "But I'm going to fix it." Jason, watching from the shadows as the family reeled, felt an ache he couldn't explain. He hadn't wanted this, for Drew, for anyone. But maybe this was the reckoning everyone needed. Sometimes, the truth doesn't set you free. Sometimes, it burns everything down so you can rebuild. Closing tease. As Drew checks into a private treatment center, Jason makes a quiet decision of his own, to stay in Port Charles, for good. Portia faces a disciplinary board with her license on the line, and Willow steps into a new chapter as a leader, not just a survivor. But danger is never far. A mysterious figure watches from afar, holding a file marked, Cassadine, and a photograph of Willow, circled in red. The past isn't finished with them yet. Thanks for watching this video and please subscribe our GH News 24 YouTube channel for more update news.